Planning Minister Craig Knowles told State Parliament that unless the council rezoned Merewether Wharf to clear the way for the Holiday Inn Hotel, he would. The announcement came on the eve of the last mediation session aimed at breaking the deadlock between the Holiday Inn and the rival Argyle Forum Hotel.
The Minister's comments are prompted by the fact that it has taken for a while and everyone is feeling the pressure about the BHP decision.
The Lord Mayor says the rezoning issue is well in hand and the council will make its final decision next Tuesday. However, the developers of the Holiday Inn have welcomed the minister's intervention, saying the rezoning process was bogged down and had almost forced them to pull out.
For this city to have a viable future, we need a proactive, a pro-development council. We don't have that at present. They've really got to get their act together.
The backers of the Argyle Forum opposite Merewether Wharf have attacked the government's backing of Holiday Inn. The Richard Owens Group is yet to make a final decision on its hotel. And while the rezoning of the Holiday Inn site is all but assured, its developers say it's back to the drawing board for a design. Phil Hind, NBN News. Lord Mayor Greg Hees denies all prior knowledge of the operation in which the private investigator was paid to visit illegal brothels.
I only found out about this yesterday. It was authorised by the previous general manager, and we're going to cease it forthwith.
The Mayor has now ordered an internal probe to find out exactly how much ratepayers' money was spent on prostitutes. He's also promising to table the report's findings. However, the Mayor has defended the motives for the operation, saying action must be taken to protect residents forced to live near illegal brothels.
Maybe we were overzealous, but we did it for the right reasons in the interests of our residents.
The council has also received backing from the city's legal brothel owners. Kim Barron, who set up the state's first legitimate brothel, claims there are at least 20 illegal operations in the city which are costing her clients.
We had to go through all the council approvals, DAs, BAs, pay tax, make sure that our workers' compensation, superannuation is all up to date. We also go to great lengths to make sure there's no disease, drugs in these premises, and they only give us a bad name.
However, the council operation has raised questions about the legality of the way evidence was collected to shut down illegal brothels.
You look very carefully at whether that person was participating in the commission of an offence themselves. There was a recent case in the High Court which frowned on the involvement even of police in setting up sting operations.
No deadline has been set for the report into the scandal. Phil Hind, NBN News. It's been a long time since the streets of the West End have thronged with so many shoppers. The development of the 99-year-old building cost $6 million. Its new owner hopes it will bring prosperity to the area.
I believe now that what's taking place here, everyone can take advantage of it.
Inside, it was a flurry of activity. Shoppers looking for a bargain, while some stall holders were still moving in. The store is not so much a store as an indoor market, and there's still plenty of room.
Oh, I think it's good. It's good. Only they haven't got enough stalls.
Anything that's Kiwi's got to be a good thing.
We did open a little bit premature because of the couple of sales I've got upstairs, but I believe in the next 2 to 3 weeks the building will be completed.
Con Constantine also owns the successful Parklea markets in Sydney, and stall holders from there have followed him north.
Parklea market started off not unlike this. It's pretty much like this. It started off and now it's one of the biggest markets in Sydney, so hopefully this will do really well.
Meanwhile, there are other signs of new hope in the West End. A new 159-space multi-level car park is being built to serve the Spotlight store. Costing $2 million, it's due to open mid-year. Phil Hind, NBN News.
The afternoon quiet of Scone was shattered by the clanging of steel. Members of the Farrier and Blacksmiths Association from far and wide were shaping a strip of steel rod into shoes for the horses. In 65 minutes, the men hammered, forged, rasped and nailed for a perfect fit. Shoes in all shapes and sizes, from a pony to a draft horse, were shaped and fitted. Judge Stephen Heads from Royal Randwick Racecourse said this is an exacting craft.
Make sure that the nails fit correctly, that there's no pressure on the horse's feet, and that the job's finished up so it looks nice and neat.
Activities associated with the horse will continue in Scone till next weekend, with inspections of studs, thoroughbred sales and the running of the Scone Gold Cup.
Yeah, it would be good. Probably hoping for a bit too much because of the way they race. They both need a lot of luck, so we're just hoping one of them get up.
Earlier this week, Cessnock Council voted to defer a decision on the controversial dross plant proposed for land near Mitchell Avenue after Western Aluminium made changes to the original plans. The deferral was made despite Council's Town Planning Department recommending approval. The move has angered Western Aluminium. In a letter to Cessnock Mayor Merv Pine, Western Aluminium's managing director stated, "Such a policy borders on the council being in dereliction of its duties."
This decision on the BA is the council's decision, and I think that they're really being irresponsible by pushing the decision making to the state government Department of Planning.
Western Aluminium claims Council's actions could send a negative message to potential investors in the area. The company hopes to attract international investment for aluminium processing industries in the Hunter Valley at a major conference in June, including a die casting plant with the potential to employ 600 people.
We've put our credibility on the line and the Hunter region's credibility on the line to attract these industries, and the behaviour and the lack of leadership shown by Cessnock Council is jeopardising all the hard work we and the state government is trying to do.
Cessnock Mayor Merv Pine maintains Council is just following procedure and is confident a final decision can be made in around a fortnight. Blake Doyle, NBN News.
There was nothing wrong with the start of Newcastle's game last night. 2 quick baskets to Tony Jensen put the locals on top, and they were chasing just about everything. Back on court, Illawarra soon found its mark and took control of the game. It wasn't overly flash stuff, but the Hawks did all of the basics right. Newcastle was continually caught off guard, and the visitors took full advantage. The Falcons needed something special, and Tony Jensen landed 3 before Butch Hayes landed somewhere else. But despite the effort, it wasn't looking good at quarter time. Newcastle down by 7. Illawarra started the second term with the same intensity, and everything they tried came off, until Butch Hayes gave the locals something to smile about. But how quickly things change. Illawarra surged ahead in the third quarter, again potting almost every attempt. And by the final term, the Falcons had hit the canvas with a 31-point drubbing, the Hawks waiting until the change rooms to deliver the knockout punch.
West End traders are meeting tonight in a bid to get the Newcastle Council to rethink cuts of around $4 million to city improvements. On the hit list are Stage 2 of the mall upgrade worth more than $3 million, as well as another $1 million for paving and landscaping in the West End. Close to $40 million worth of investment is taking place in the west of the city with the Market Town, Spotlight and store redevelopments. Chairman of the City West Precinct, Brett Kemmis, says the West is the council's biggest retail rates earner and now it's time for traders to see a return.
We believe it's been pretty slow in coming back to this end of the town, and that's why we want the rates now to be generated into a worthwhile project, as the revitalisation plan is. We want to move forward as one. I think what's important for the mall and City West are the one thing, and that is we revitalise ourselves together and move forward as one.
As the coast continues to lap up the lion's share of the rainfall, the northwestern reaches of the Upper Hunter is becoming increasingly parched. The Merriwa district has not had decent rain since February. If the dry spell continues for another 6 weeks, then farmers face the bleak prospect of no winter crops, just 12 months after emerging from a crippling 5-year drought.
We're just starting to get back on our knees now, and then we'll find our feet if we can get this year out of the road. But it could be a case of the straw that breaks the camel's back if there's no winter crop this year.
The dry conditions are also affecting stock. While it appears there's an abundance of feed about, much of its nutritional value has been lost through drying out, frost and light rain. Many farmers have been forced to start supplementary feeding, placing an extra burden on an already worrying situation.
It's too expensive to feed stock for what they're worth. It's just not worth the while. So you're in a situation where you would either hope like hell it rains, or you would sell on a depressed market.
Farmers need just 25 millimetres of rain to start sowing crops. If it doesn't fall in the next month, then the region will apply for drought declaration status. According to the Weather Bureau, the long-term prospect of heavy rain is not favourable. As the dry spell continues, the town is also feeling the pinch.
Now we're going to see the effects such as the Commonwealth Bank closing, which has happened, and the effect on other businesses in the town.
We've seen them just find one extra notch in our belt and pull it a bit tighter. It's something we don't need. We just do not need this year no winter crop.
Simone Cobb, NBN News.
Residents in Reed Street woke this morning to make the grisly discovery of a man's body in the middle of the street. At this stage, police are at a loss to explain exactly what happened, although they suspect he was the victim of a hit and run.
It appears as though he has been involved with a motor vehicle accident. We're not aware at this stage of the type of vehicle involved.
Police went door to door looking for witnesses, but residents could cast little light on the mystery. At this stage, police are still trying to identify the victim. He's described as in his early 20s, of average height and medium build with short brown-red hair. He was dressed in green work pants and a blue shirt. Police are also seeking information on any car showing fresh signs of damage.
We're looking at damage to the front part of the vehicle. We believe we need that assistance as soon as possible.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Narrabri Police. Phil Hind, NBN News.
At just 25 years of age, Kristen Radford has been recognised as the country's most accomplished young researcher in the field of cancer.
I was ecstatic. It was really a great honour for me, a great honour for our lab as well. My boss, Dr. Peter Hersey, nominated me, so it's been a great honour for all of us.
The PhD student at the University of Newcastle has pioneered research into a protein that can help arrest the growth of melanomas. The hunter has one of the highest rates of skin cancer in the world.
I'm studying a protein called CD63. So we're just basically studying this protein, trying to understand what it does and how tumours spread, and in that way we might be able to lead to better treatments.
After 3 years of research at the John Hunter Hospital, Ms Radford's work has been published in 3 medical journals. She's the second Newcastle scientist to take out the prestigious prize in just its second year. The win has helped further the city's reputation as a leader in cancer research. Having recently completed her 200-page thesis, the young scientist is hopeful of heading overseas next year for postdoctoral work. Simone Cobb, NBN News.
After a mediocre start to the Super League season, the Mariners now have the imposing task of taking on some of the world's best teams. The World Club Challenge kicks off early next month. The Hunter are away for the first 3 rounds of the international competition. The squad was announced today. There are no surprises. Most have played a key role in the Mariners' efforts in the opening 11 rounds back home. But coach Graham Murray has left one spot open. That will be filled after Friday's clash with Brisbane. Among the contenders for the 19th spot are John Carlaw and Kevin Iro. Carlaw has been nursing an ankle injury for the last couple of weeks, while Iro has been out since the World Nines in January. Both have a chance of appearing against the Broncos, and if they play, they might get that final ticket. Meantime, the Mariners have branched into rugby union by supporting 2 Newcastle Wildfires with the University of Newcastle scholarship. James Lawrence and Stuart Woodhouse are the latest recipients of the $10,000 a year assistance, while the club's own Julian Bailey has also been given a 3-year deal.
The common sight of a Rural Lands Protection Board in country towns may soon become a thing of the past. The state government wants to amalgamate the boards to cut costs, but landholders claim that move would be a major blow to rural communities like Merriwa.
We're arguing that the smaller boards are far more effective in terms of service delivery, and there's much more of a relationship between the people, there's much more local representations.
The government plans to transfer services normally delivered by the Department of Agriculture to a streamlined RLPB system, which means landholders will be forced to pay higher rates.
They would estimate that the Rural Lands Board rates will be equal to Shire rates within 10 years, and I think that's a fairly scary prospect. That's a 10-fold increase.
Landholders say their local boards are the best equipped to deal with disasters such as drought and disease outbreaks.
We have a very significant base of local knowledge in terms of environmental, meteorological, financial, climatic situations that enable that response to happen, and we're going to lose that, and I think that will be a tragedy.
Merriwa ratepayers have invited the Minister for Agriculture to visit the area before a final decision is made. Simone Cobb, NBN News. Pauline Hanson doesn't even arrive in Newcastle for another 4 days, yet the battle lines have already been drawn. After meeting with police on Friday, Council immediately increased its fees to hire out the Civic Centre by another $9,000. Outraged, organisers have accused Council of trying to abort the event.
We now find that freedom of speech has a cost in dollars, and the cost of freedom of speech in Newcastle is $16,500 a night.
Peter Archer is so incensed with Council's actions that he's prepared to stand as a candidate for Hanson's One Nation party.
I feel so strongly about this that I will put up my hand to be a candidate in Newcastle.
Organisers of the Hanson event believe 350 officers will be called in to control the crowd, which police anticipate could swell to 10,000 protesters. If so, this would make it one of the biggest political events ever staged in Newcastle. Council said it made its sudden decision based on those figures.
There is no political element. The Council hasn't taken any stand except to express support for free speech in Newcastle.
Council says the increased cost will pay for extra security, vital to protecting the heritage building, which cost ratepayers millions to renovate.
Operation of the Civic Theatre does have a moral responsibility to the people of Newcastle to look after one of its greatest heritage assets.
Simone Cobb, NBN News.
Newcastle and St George have similar origin commitments and no doubt share a similar outlook on this weekend's game against each other.
Obviously, crucial stage of the season. It's going to be a very tough game. A lot of ex-Newcastle players' involvement, and they'll add for further spies.
In fact, the Dragons should be right on fire for Sunday's game at Cogra. Newcastle's win in round one giving extra motivation. All 4 Origin Knights have been named in the team, although all will be tested for fitness on Thursday. Malcolm really naming Andrew Johns on the bench, while Leo Denver starts at halfback.
I fully intend it to start with Leo, regardless of whether Andrew had been playing instead of Origin. But naturally, with him playing, and not knowing just whether he's going to come through, Leo's in there for obvious reasons.
One notable absence will be injured forward Wayne Richards. He succumbed to a fractured shoulder, and while Adam McDougall joins him on the sidelines for the St George match, the promising winger should return soon.
The player himself is the only one that can really say whether or not he's playing without pain or with pain, or whether he's going to see a game out. And at the moment, he's saying no.
Just makes it a viable sports complex operating on quite a number of occasions, and we're looking at all options to increase that further.
The Rosellas' form this year has been indifferent. From 8 matches, they've won 5, and last weekend just got home against Central. But West is still favourite for tonight's battle at Harker Oval. The main game starts at 8:30. In other matches this long weekend, Waratah Mayfield meet Curry, and Maitland travels to Cessnock, while Souths play the Bay, and Lakes is at home to Central. 3 days of the NBN Soccer League for round 8 of the competition. Home games for Cessnock, Broadmeadow, Wallsend, Toronto and Hamilton. The Newcastle Men's Hockey Premiership goes into recess this weekend, with the representative side instead trying to break a 14-year winning drought in the state championships. 20 teams from across New South Wales start pool matches tomorrow. The best will fight out Monday's finals. And similar representative duties for the state's netballers. National Park hosts 1,000 players in 3 age divisions over the long weekend. Jonathan Upton, NBN News.
The retired politician spent 19 years representing the local community as the member for Barwon. A jovial Mr Murray says the award is a complete surprise as he's been out of the spotlight for 2 years.
But it is a great honour, and the time hasn't sunk in yet, really, as to all the effects of it. And it's a great thank you to the family and all those who have supported me over the years.
Meanwhile, a Tamworth man has been recognised for his contribution behind the scenes for services to veterans. Bob Veal says he is both delighted and humbled at being made a member of the Order of Australia.
It's hard to put my feelings, but I was very honoured when I found out about it and very proud.
For the past 10 years, Mr Veal has been helping fellow war veterans sort out their financial entitlements. He says while the official recognition is a great honour, the real reward is in helping others.
I also think that with the award, it's just not only myself, but hopefully it'll go to the recognition of the RSL.
Also recognised for his community contribution, Armidale's Thomas Briggs for services to Aboriginal people through development programs. Atunga's Christine Walters has been awarded for her work with the Aboriginal Respite Care Centre. Alfred Ross from Armidale was honoured for his role in education, and Boggabri farmer Neil Kemmis was recognised for his services through local government.
The danger involved in rock climbing was highlighted last week with the death of a climber at Monkey Face in the Wadigan Mountains west of Newcastle. The 18-year-old Central Coast man died of head injuries after falling 20 metres to the ground while rock climbing with a friend. A 22-year-old man also from the Central Coast received a broken arm. Both were believed to be experienced climbers. The sport's indoor popularity has ballooned with people of all ages. The problems are occurring when the skills learnt inside are taken outside to the rock face.
We've got a reasonably good standard, but then historically there's only been sort of 3,000 to 4,000 climbers in the 70s up to now there's a big boom in the industry, and so more people are going to hit the ground by just per capita.
The Outdoor Recreation Council of Australia has drafted a policy to ensure all instructors in other adrenaline sports are fully certified.
Anybody that's going to be a training provider will have some sort of accreditation that'll be through the Department of Education or the National Training Boards, like any other workplace.
The code is expected to be implemented in 2 years. Blake Doyle, NBN News.